Man, my parents always told me growing up, because my dad makes commercials and stuff, and they always said that they wanted to use me in a starving children commercial because I could suck in like my skin in my ribs, so just my ribs are sticking out.
In the arms of an angel.
Welcome to the 23rd episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is a show where I interview bands and public figures from the mathcore community. If you beautiful people in chat have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in. I'll try my best to read them aloud. If you're watching this on YouTube, listening to this in your car, have no idea what I'm talking about, the show is first shown live every Sunday and Wednesday. Join us at twitch.tv/the Cast That Ends Creation for the live cast. Tonight, I'm joined by two of the bigger figures in the mathcore community to discuss our top 10 heavy releases. Welcome in Carson Pace and Taylor Bates. How's it going, guys?
Oh, doing well.
I'm fantastic. I'm seriously on it.
Well, tell us who you are and what you're known for.
You first, Taylor.
Me first. My name is Taylor Bates. I am the one that wears the diapers and Steaksauce mustache. Other than that, I enjoy dancing, long walks on the beach, and that's about it. I was homeschooled. The universe is really big. A long, estimated 4 billion years ago, there was an initial singularity.
Sure.
And then now I'm here.
It's like that Bare Naked Ladies song for The Big Bang Theory. 1 week.
Yes.
Because of course our Lord and Savior created the earth in 7 days. Well, no, he rested on the 7th. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It was 6.
Shit. Hi. I'm Carson Pace. I am the vocalist of the Callous Daoboys. I suppose the one you're annoyed by on the internet the most. The least attractive member. Also, I got a lot of negative points against me, but I am the voice, and no one can stop me from being that. No one can take that away from me. But I got a lot of negative stats other than that.
So you believe in what you do.
Yes, absolutely. I die for it. I am dying for it.
On Mars.
Fuck.
Oh.
God damn it.
So this year's been pretty crazy. How have you guys been holding up through it all? Lockdowns, protests. It's been nuts.
I work from home dominantly. I edit a TV show for a living and make designs and work on music as much as possible. And for me, music is definitely my sense of community, and our concerts are a chance for me to connect with my friends and get to see people that I love and care about. And so honestly, it's been really, really difficult because we had the biggest tour that we've ever had booked lined up, and we were just getting ready to leave for that when everything kind of shut down, and we kept fingers crossed hoping like, oh, maybe our tour won't cancel, and then it did. And so honestly, it's less depression and more just kind of frustration at what's going on, because you really want to just get out and see your friends and family, and then knowing that there's all these limitations holding you back. It's tough, but you know what? Life's good. We're still alive, still here. So,
yeah. What about you, Carson?
I feel much like Taylor. I feel very fortunate that I'm still alive and still here, and not, displaced out of my home or anything due to the pandemic and all that. Pretty much the same for us. I mean, we had a couple really, really awesome tours lined up, and we booked like 2 more the week that everything shut down, just because everyone thought that touring is going to be back in October, baby. So we booked like a full US for October of this year, and of course just everything fell through and all that. Wouldn't it be crazy if I was like, and we embarked on it and it was amazing. No, what else happened to me? I had a tweet go massively viral, and got an article on Billboard, and Metal Injection. That was pretty cool. That was.
Do you have the blue check mark yet? Are you officially?
Not yet. No, which I should, because my tweets do numbers now. It's fucked up. I am slowly inching my way towards being a part of verified Twitter. We had like an EP. We announced our signing during quarantine, and we were originally we had like a 5-song EP written, and then one day I woke up while we were still in lockdown, and I was like, fuck it. I was like, we're gonna cut one of these songs and write a couple more, and we're gonna write an LP. So we wrote a full length and recorded it, and it just got mixed, and it's being mastered right now. So lots of things happened to me, and all of them mostly really good. I would kill to play a show right now. I would pay somebody to play a show. I'd pay somebody just to let me load into a venue at this point, just to fucking feel something.
I'll take a Little Caesars pizza, and that's about it.
Right? Yeah. No. That's yeah. That's all I need. I don't need a guarantee or anything. I need you know what? Half a Little Caesars pizza. Yeah, that's it. That's all I need.
Our drummer said something that made me laugh super hard. Like he did a poll and said, how many of you would risk, just ignore the risks of coronavirus and go to a concert to see your favorite band right now? And then, it was like 70% said no, 30% said yes. Then he said, every single one of you who voted yes, I'm going to be reporting you to the government. Screw you guys. Then he followed it up. Just kidding. Right now, I would let 3 people with confirmed corona cough on spit on me if I could go to a Kanye West show right now.
Jeez. That's around. I mean, that's very close to how I feel, because I mean, like some bands that I don't really get to see that often, we're supposed to, do like full US tours and stuff. And like, I mean, there were so many good tours lined up that I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And of course, I mean,
2020 is our year.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's what we thought. We were like, this is awesome. We're going to get signed, and we're going to go on tour with a huge band like Shin Guard.
Yeah.
We're going to go on tour with Grammy winners, Steaksauce, Mustache.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I am sponsored by the Callous Daoboys.com/merch. Wow. Just throwing that out there.
I'm sponsored by Heated.
Alrighty. As for me, I've actually kind of enjoyed the lockdown. Like, I got to get a bunch of shit done. It does suck that you can't like go out on tour or whatever. And I kind of feel like it held back not only all the bands that were gonna tour, but our scene in general. Because people would like check out Steaksauce, Mustache when they saw them on tour, and then get into mathcore, and now you're listening to all the other underground bands. And so it kind of sucks that the whole scene's just like held back by a year. Like, I feel like by now we would have been a little bit more mainstream, but a little bit more accepted in the metal community. You know what I mean? A little bit bigger, But
it's gonna. Don't worry.
I'm sure, man.
Back with a vengeance. But yeah, no. I mean, you released an album in quarantine, my man.
Yeah.
A very good one, I might add. That I slammed today again, and
did he put you up to that?
Yes, he did. I can show you the Venmo transaction. It was $55, and I said, more please, and he said, that's all you get. And I said, okay, fine. So
he offered me half of a Little Caesars pizza, so I'm still waiting for that.
Oh, call back. That's improv, baby.
It's an inside joke. Yeah.
So this year's been insane, not for just what's been going on in the world, but the sheer number of releases. It's absolutely ridiculous. I know I'm overwhelmed actually with all of them, and I thought that our lists would actually be very similar to each other, but then I looked at them, and we're talking about 28 different albums. Like, holy shit, man. So
that means there's only 2 commonalities.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
strap in, started. Everybody.
Yeah, grab some coffee, maybe a little snack. I feel like this might end up being a long one. So the way we're gonna do this,
grab a Red Bull, which I'm also sponsored by Red Bull. Gives you wings.
So the way we'll do this, I'll start off with we'll each go through our number 10 and then our number 9, etc. I'll start off with 10, and I guess we'll go with Taylor and then Carson and keep going from there.
Ladies first. All right.
Diaper daddies first, baby.
I'm going to preface my numbers here because a lot of my choices are like music, as I said, is about community for me. So most of my favorite albums this year were albums released by my friends, and honestly, there's definitely some bias in that because like I really care about these people in general, and then on top of that, their music is hella sick. But the first album is actually not one of those. I would love to meet these guys, but they're in the friggin' UK, so that's probably not going to happen. But there's a band called Palm Reader, and their album Sleepless is really, really beautiful. This one is a much more melodic release than their previous ones. Their last ones definitely had more of kind of a mathcore, hardcore vibe to it. But they've always been really good at kind of tying in intensity and beauty all in one. And this album is really definitely one of my favorites this year because it just kind of feels, it's very dreamy and dreamlike, and it just kind of floats and is ethereal. And they're a really tight band.
Is there someone you'd compare them to? Because I this is one of the ones I didn't get to.
So same. I feel so bad because someone in Palm Reader just followed me on Twitter, so I feel awful that I've not heard this record yet.
Your unverified Twitter, huh?
Shut up.
So they have mathy parts that actually remind me a lot of a band like Dillinger Escape Plan. However, the melody and atmosphere that they do, it's like Loathe is a big name that's going around right now, but I would say it's kind of similar to that, where they have some very, very beautiful melodic sounding elements and chorus structures and stuff, but then their mathy intensity parts are very much like Dillinger Escape Plan.
Okay.
It's like Dillinger Escape Plan light.
Sure. Because comparing a band to Dillinger, it's like which one? Like
yeah,
which Dillinger song are you referring
like Ironwork
to?
Dillinger.
Okay, cool. That's my favorite Dillinger record. So I guess 3 years ago today was the final show. If either of you were at that, and
I didn't get the pleasure, but shit, man, I watched that live footage.
Yeah, you would have seen me. I lost both my shoes on night 2, and then Sid from Wanbond found them, like at the front. It was great because I was staying with him anyway. But he found my shoes. A little bit of lore, little crossover. You know, it's like when Bilbo shows up at the beginning of Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean?
Oh,
okay.
Now I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah. Sid is Bilbo.
Oh,
I'm Frodo.
That comparison is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense because you were barefoot. I don't know how tall you are. How tall are you, Carson?
I'm like 5'10" on a good day.
Oh, so yeah, Hobbit size. All right, perfect. Perfect analogy then.
So Carson, what's your 10?
My number 10, first of all, is sponsored by Red Baron French bread pizzas. Red Baron.
Lots of sponsors going on, man.
Beat the competition. My number 10 is "You Music" by Focusrites. It is I know it's on your list, right, Chris?
Yeah,
or one of y'all's list. I'll just real quick say that I'm a huge fan of Psyopus, and that is what drew me towards this record. Is Christian Segerstrom told me that it kind of reminded him of Psyopus, and I think I was way more stoked on it than he was. I was like, this is amazing. And it's a ridiculous album, which I'll talk more about it when we get to it on your list. But my favorite song is Yakuza Bob.
So I got a question in chat from 11th Heart 777. Do y'all consider chaotic hardcore or other chaotic genres to be mathcore, or does it depend on the band? Maybe like a midpoint between them.
It would depend on the band for me. Sorry, Taylor. Sorry.
No, I'm the same way.
I'm like, I don't care either way.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what? Like, if you throw a measure of 6'4" or 11'8" in there, you know what? You're
Or five,
part of
was
the
it 5'5"? Wasn't that what you were?
5'5". Yeah, no, that's around my height. Yeah,
But yeah, I feel like it's a little subjective.
Yep.
Yeah, like I don't know. There's a fine. Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, you consider a lot of things mathcore, right? Like just looking at our list, for example, like there's some stuff that's a little questionable, but like the tint is big for mathcore. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
each band
That's why I love
sounds extremely different. Right? Exactly. So yeah, it just completely depends on the band, I think. So speaking of things that sound like Psyopus, my number 10 is the Potions EP Cemetery, which it just very unconventional riffing, super fast and intense. It's really crazy. He even has like a solo in there. Like I don't know how you put a solo in. You don't hear too many solos in mathcore, but yeah. Did you guys get a chance to check this one out or?
I haven't yet. No.
I did. Christian sent it to me when it came out, and I've heard this band before, and the only real negative is their production choices.
Right.
That is what kind of kept it off my list, because I was listening to it, and like I was re-listening to it today when I saw that it was on your list, and I was like, okay, this is really cool stuff, you know, because I jammed it, I think, once or twice the day it came out, and I was like, okay, no, I remember this part, and this part's cool. They're amazing at their instruments.
Mhm.
I hope that they progress towards maybe more of a cleaner production style in the future. Maybe that's not what they're going for, but just the production choices weren't exactly for me.
I'm with you. It's like a little too quiet, a little too what do you call it? I guess suffocating is a good word. I don't know. Like it seems like
Yeah.
everything's happening at once. I'm not sure. But yeah, the production definitely should be fixed up a little bit. I do have to shout out the harmonica that he's got in there on the last song. Like this album's pretty
What
eclectic.
hardcore needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite song on here is Dog Jail. So if you guys get a chance to check it out, you should listen to that one.
Yeah, I actually am noting down about 90% of both your guys' list because I'm like, oh, new songs. I'm gonna check this out.
Man, like, so I hadn't listened to a bunch of the ones on this list, so I spent the last hour and a half or so just trying to cram in as much of this stuff as possible. So there's gonna be a few things I don't know too much about, but there's so many releases. I had no idea. This is crazy. What's your number 9, Taylor?
Number 9. Let me look at it. Let's see. So 156 Silence, Irrational Pole. I got to play with these guys a few shows with. I actually played in 2 bands, and both those bands got to play individual shows with 156 Silence when they hit the West Coast last year. And really awesome guys. I think they were very, very tired because they were kind of zombies the whole couple of days, but their music was just really, really intense and has a lot of very moody, emotional pull to it. And for me, like,
Would you
I don't
say an
care.
irrational pull?
Irrational Pull, yeah. It's an awesome album. The whole thing is just very, very moody and dark, and has a lot of energy to it. And for me, music is it's about 2 things for me. It's the community, and then on top of that, emotion and passion. Like, you could be the most talented guy in the world, but if you don't actually like believe in what you're doing, then it kind of kills it for me. But their album, it's not necessarily the thickest sounding album ever, but it really has some really good stuff on it. And if I had to pick one track that I really liked, the title track, Irrational Pull, had some really cool stuff. And we were talking about Korn earlier before this started, and
Yes, we were.
that song reminds me of Korn, and I liked it. So I guess I
Yeah.
like Korn. They're the best mathcore band, Korn.
They invented. Do you remember in when they put out their dubstep album and they said that they invented dubstep in the 90s?
Oh, 156 Silence? I totally
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah, they totally
Off,
did that.
Taylor. No, I forgot the this is incredibly embarrassing. I forgot that the 156 album did not come out in 2019.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
It
was
is
a
an
while ago.
awesome record though. It is so sick. It's a sick record.
Yeah, I
Can't
think they
recommend
released
it.
it pretty early on this year, so it's something that we can forgive you for. I kind of forgot about it too, honestly.
Well, and the deluxe edition of it came out, and it has an Alice in Chains cover on it. It's pretty awesome.
Oh.
Yes, it does.
I thought it was a part of their dubstep release, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that Skrillex features on.
Oh, 156 featuring Skrillex.
156 Skrillex. Yeah, that timeless collab. Should I go ahead with my number 9, Chris?
Yeah.
Did either of you get to check out the record "When I Die, Will It Get Better" by Svalbard?
I can't say I did.
I did, and that's one of the ones I missed.
So this band is very close to, I would probably say, Rolo Tomasi or Ithaca. Not just being that they're female fronted, it's just they are very, very similar in sound. I'd even throw Converge and like Genghis Tron in there, probably. I don't know if they have a synth player, but it sounds like they do. They have successfully blurred the lines between a guitar with a fuck ton of reverb and delay and a synth. And
It might
it's
be
awesome.
Skrillex, you never know.
It could be. It could be.
He's always sneaking around.
He is always sneaking around, and his close ties to the UK mathcore scene. And this band is from the UK, and it's a very, very emotional record. It's very I don't know. I don't want to use the word melodramatic because that feels like an insult, but I almost want to because to me that's a compliment. Just very like screaming at the top of your lungs in the rain music is the best. Yes, because you just found a new diaper that isn't wet.
Well, it's getting wet now. He's out in the rain.
Well, no, this is I don't know. And the track I would pick from that is "Throw Your Heart Away." As you can see, emotional music. The song's called "Throw Your Heart Away."
So my number 9 is Femurs for the Love of It. It's, I guess, very reminiscent of stuff like maybe Converge. Honestly, some of the songs like Unconditional, which is my favorite one on there, I would say that could be on Fear Before the March of Flames, Always Open Mouth. Like, it's again like what you were saying, emotional kind of music, you know. So yeah, not too much to say, but it's just fucking amazing, man. Like yeah, very emotional, post-hardcore, mathcore. Yeah,
I'm definitely noting that one. Fear Before the March is huge for me. So
same. That's like one of our band's like biggest influences. Period.
The song Unconditional specifically is really good at like building things up and then releasing it. Like they perfected this down to an art. It's emotional.
I love that type of stuff, and Fear Before were the kings of that. So that's exciting. I'm going to be excited to jam that.
Oh, you should.
I prefer it when bands just build it up and build it up and build it up and then never release it and it just keeps building and building and building.
Right? Yeah. No, I dig that. Yeah.
Is that what straight edge is?
Like, yeah, no,
yes.
That's actually straight edging. Is what it's called.
I'm allowed to make fun of them because I am.
Oh.
So, what's your number 8, Taylor?
Oh, so this is another band that's good friends of ours. They're called Zan or Zan, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But their album "Behold the Key" is just nonstop. It's just such a fun album. Those guys are like Steaksauce Mustache has played with a lot of bands, and a lot of those bands, it's like there's very few bands that I would consider funner than us. Like not trying to be.
It's a very short list.
Yeah, I was gonna say it must be a really high bar.
Like those guys are just awesome, and the homies in Zan, we actually go back. Like their first band played shows with some of the members of Steaksauce Mustache like 15 years ago at a show, and we just recently found that out. They're like, "Oh, you guys were in that band." So, but the guys in Zan, their album "Behold the Key" is just it's super fun. Like those guys are just great dudes. There's one song you got to check out. It's called "Not It," and that song is just so freaking fun. It's my favorite song that they play live. And this one show, Story Time, we played with them up in Walla Walla, Washington, and they came out after they played after us, and they came out with bottles of steak sauce, like really cheap, nasty stuff from the dollar store. Like, who wants a mustache? And everyone in the front of the crowd was just like stoked about it. And so they went and started pouring mustache on everybody's upper lips. And so I was filming them, and I was like, "Oh, put some on me." So they poured it, and that stuff was acidic, and it actually like I had like a rash on my skin because of it after the show, because it was so acidic and just burned so bad. So yeah, love those guys. But their album "Behold the Key" it's phenomenal. It came out at the beginning of the year, and just love those guys. They're super fun.
I listened to a bit of it. Isn't it like brutal death metal tech stuff?
It's very Meshuggah-esque, like really long, offbeat, crazy stuff.
Hell yes.
Yeah, those guys are super fun. They've actually been playing, I think, 15 or 20 years now. Like I think they just had their 15th or 20th anniversary.
Holy
and
shit.
They've always kind of stuck around in Washington, but they're awesome. They're really tight.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I adore Meshuggah. Meshuggah is like nearing favorite band status to me right now.
Definitely check out the song "Not It." It's a fun one.
Okay. All right. No, I'm definitely gonna do that. I don't want to keep asking permission to move on.
Just keep going. You good?
Do it. Okay. Well, this part of the list is sponsored by peanut butter M&Ms. Peanut butter M&Ms, family size.
Did they send you half of a Little Caesars or $55?
They sent me family size.
Oh,
yeah.
Family's big. That's big.
Yeah. No, I'm the oldest of four, dude. It was a big one. So the next one are also keeping with the theme, Taylor's theme. Also pretty good friends of ours. My number 8 is Fantoma by Macau. Macau is a Nintendo core band, which are those are in short supply these days. I think that trend kind of lasted very short and flamed out pretty hard.
Yeah, once the Super Nintendo and Genesis came out, like they just disappeared. But
once everyone started putting their Virtual Boys into a Goodwill, that's kind of where it ended. But Macau's awesome. I've known about them for a couple years now. I was like jamming their first EP back in 2017, and it really meant a lot to me that they've come out to see Daoboys. I think a couple times now when we've been on tour near them. We have yet to play with them because they were a 2-piece for a little while before they got a drummer, and they just didn't want to. I don't think they wanted to play live just like solely off of a computer. But there are a lot of pretenders to the Horse the Band throne, and I don't consider this to be a Nintendo core album that is that. It is very far removed from the Horse the Band sound. I would maybe compare this a little more to like The Devil Wears Prada and Attack with kind of like mathier elements. Everything that you like about The Devil Wears Prada, and there's not a lot to like, but everything you like about Attack too.
So what you're saying is, if it's more mathy, would that make it more of a lobster core band versus
lobster core?
Yeah,
lobster core for sure. It's a little more angular, you know what I mean? No, but the hooks on this record are fantastic, and like all the synth lines are like they're like candy. It's like popping little like candy Xanax pills or real Xanax pills, depending on what you do. I know you're straight edge, Taylor, but yeah.
I actually
straight edging, baby.
I actually got to listen to a bit of this. I would say your comparisons are pretty much on point. Their vocalist also sounds a bit like you. Also, I don't know if you picked up on that.
What's funny is I was supposed to be on this record and I couldn't pull it together in time. So maybe it's a good thing I wasn't. I don't know if I would have stuck out. John and I sound similar. I don't know if it's John or Adam that primarily does the vocals, because I know both of them do, but we do sound pretty similar. I would consider that more a compliment to me than a compliment to him. I am honored by that. Thank you, Chris.
So my number 8 is Eyes, Underperformer.
Yeah.
So much energy, man. Like it's wild. They have a song called Surf, and that's kind of the feeling you get listening to the album. The a song that I'm really into. Off. Yeah, they got the little clapping thing in the middle of it, which is fucking sick. They're
It's fun.
right. Oh, it's so good, man. And they got kind of like
the music videos are sick too. Like the whole melancholy, just like not caring type of thing. Like I just loved it so much. It was so fun.
I didn't get to see the video, man. I need to watch the video.
Dude, I'm gonna look up the name of that video because that one is such a good one. There's this part in the middle where it like opens up in this breakdown. There's no vocals, and the whole band just stops playing, and they just start doing this routine like thing all in unison. It's just so funny.
But yeah, I would say they also have a little bit of a early Daughters feel to them with like the whole sliding on the guitar and stuff. But yeah, sick album, man. Eyes, Underperformer. It's pretty sick.
I got to check this one out right before we recorded, and if I had known about this earlier, I think it definitely would have made my list. It is super sick. The like. Every passing year, I think that guitar slides with an octave shape on the D string and B string are going to get old, and they never do.
Right.
It is always fun, I'm really excited to check out more of it. I got, I think, 3 tracks in, so I'm stoked to get into more of that.
Yeah, the music video is called Distance. And that music video it's perfect because they're so melancholy and just not even caring, but the music is just so intense. It's fun.
Holly was asking for Taylor and for both of you guys, how does it feel knowing you two share the same vowel placement? I'm assuming the A. Oh, and O. I didn't notice that. There you go. Yeah.
I imagine it's satisfying for you to look at. That might be kind of nice. Taylor Bates, Carson Pace. Hey, if we get married, it's essentially going to be that we have the same names. You know what I mean?
Married. I'm tooken, dude. Straight tooken.
Damn it.
Wow. Is it an open marriage though?
No, it's very close.
It's very close.
And happily very closed.
Yeah, I mean, you'll say that when you're on stream, but
oh no.
I'll DM you.
So what's your number 7, Taylor?
That's none of your business.
Alrighty.
Another homie band. These guys are actually just a couple hours away from us. They're called Foes, and their EP American Violence is just a ripper straight through beginning to end. And those guys are another story time. The members of Foes that started that band, they actually were in a band with the guitarist of Steaksauce, Mustache, like 12 to 15 years ago, called Orchybort. And those guys have been close friends of ours since the beginning of this band. They're awesome guys. And I worked on a couple of their music videos as well, and some designs. I actually designed all the album artwork for their latest release. And those guys are just top dog friends. Like they're top quality, grade A best friends. But yeah, their album American Violence is sick. It's really, really intense, and you can really tell. Like it just carries a lot of the current frustration of our culture climate and what's happening in the world, and it funnels it and aims it right at the heart of sound. It's pretty cool. I dig it. But there's one track that I especially liked called "The Wolves Can Read," and I'm just a huge sucker for like really big, open, empty spots when for breakdowns or whatever, and they have this section in the middle of the song that it just feels like a giant sludging monster just pulsing towards you, and I love that song. It's a sick one. Good dudes, good album.
Was there someone you compare it to?
Um, I know that they're influenced by bands like Nails or I would compare them a lot to something like End, actually End's album this year. Very similar feelings to that.
Okay.
I what did you guys think of that End record? Because it kind of I loved like the first 4 tracks, and then the rest just like kind of went in one ear and out the other. I think they're very good at their instruments. I think they're a good band. It kind of it didn't stick with me as much as I thought it would based on the first opening tracks.
Honestly, I thought it'd be on one of y'all's lists. That was the reason I didn't put it on mine.
I was telling Chris before this earlier today because he mentioned that, and I told him like, man, that album is like it feels like you're being hit with a curbludgeon, just like you just get
over and over and over again, which is how I felt about their first EP too. And like the second that I knew that like I think one of the other Misery Signals guys is involved in the newest record. The second that I knew that, I was like, okay, maybe it'll like move in more of a melodic direction, and it did not. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like
yeah, I loved it. I love the production, and like it's a very visceral, angry album. And I loved it beginning to end. But I was telling Chris the reason why I didn't choose it for my top 10 is because I only listened to it twice, and that's because it made me so depressed after listening to it. Like it affected my mood so heavily, and honestly, this year has enough of that. It's already been difficult enough to stay positive and just keep moving forward. So I love that album, but I'm gonna wait till a better year to listen to it again.
Right? Yeah. It's also like I feel like it came out like midsummer, and like I was so hot outside that I was like, I don't want to listen to this like depressing ass music while it's so hot. Like this is winter music. God damn it.
I don't know, man. That shit really hypes me up. All the grindy segments and stuff. It's so much energy. So much energy.
So much energy. So my number 7 is the album Indwell. Indwell? Probably
It's
Indwell.
It's Indwell.
Good.
Pronounced IND well.
So the next album is I Dwell, by Meth Witch. This record was recommended to me by our bassist, Daoboys bassist Jackie Buckaloo. Jackie was like, "This is like hit your head against a door until you pass out music." And I was like,
record the ringing in your ears.
Awesome. I was like, perfect, great. This record is
terrifying,
so crazy,
terrifying.
Like, and that's what attracts me to it like so hard is like the elements of like, first of all, I being someone who like produces records and stuff, like I really really hone in on different production choices, and the production choices on this, because I know this is a one-man project, it's just one guy, the production choices on this are so bizarre and so interesting. Like the vocals will get sidechained to the kick drum just like randomly, and I don't know if that's accidental, but like the vocals, like there will be like crazy 16th double kick notes, and the vocals will be ducking in between those, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Actually, I heard that he does that live. Like he can actually perfectly sync.
That's great. That's what I'm looking for in a vocalist. This record makes me feel like the last tombstone in a drowning graveyard. That is, I think, the best approximation for it. It is.
Thought about that one for a while.
I did. I was like, what is the tagline for this record? And it's that. It is horrifying. Like and not in the same way that we were talking about End, where it's like depressing. This is like fun and like campy, and I can punch somebody in the face to it. And comparisons, Suicide Silence, Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. I don't know. Like, there's nothing that sounds like this. There is nothing that scratches this itch like the actual thing. So
that album makes me think like Meth Witch's album makes me think of what Code Orange wants to be.
Yes, it really it's what visually Code Orange should sound like. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
and it bums me out that it's not like a full band, because I would love to experience this album full band, especially the song Devil in the Corner. Devil in the Corner is it was like my fourth most played song of this year, just because it is just there's I think the line before the breakdown is "I can feel God's presence fade away," and it just makes me want to just skin a bear alive.
Right. I
awesome.
think this sounds so fucking like scary. At least the first half, and then it starts like becoming a little bit more mellower towards the end. You get some singing and stuff like that.
I guess there's some more experimental elements, but like the whole thing freaks me the fuck out.
Right,
Yeah.
dude. Like I
heebie-jeebies.
I interviewed him, and the first time that like I'm listening to an album of a band that I'm like interviewing, I like to like read the lyrics and stuff. And dude, you feel like you're in a horror movie, just like reading the lyrics and really soaking everything in. Fucking terrifying. He was telling me actually he uses like some of the sound that he uses like a drill, like power tools or whatever, and like cutting up cardboard and shit. Like he does a bunch of weird sounds for it.
There's so many weird sounds like that. And then there's a speak and spell on one track. He samples a speak and spell. And every single time that it comes on when I'm listening to the record, I'll like turn around to make sure like no one's like behind me or something. It is so scary.
But yeah, I guess I'll do, where was I? Number 7?
Number 7.
So my number 7 is Horse Torso, micro pianist. Yeah. Awesome, like jazz, and I guess you could call it free jazz, but it's so eclectic, and none of the instruments are doing the same thing as another instrument like the whole time. It's so busy, but not too busy, I guess is a good way to say it. But yeah, the only way I could see this album getting better is if they actually had a vocalist. I kind of think they should have a vocalist, but it's fucking amazing, man. I'd say my favorite song is This Guy, This Is Not My Kind of Guy. Yeah, you won't hear an album like this. I don't think there's anybody that you can compare this to, except for like actual jazz. But yeah, wild guys, wild stuff.
I just remember reading one of his comments where somebody was commenting. I think it was Hate 5
Name
6.
them. Oh, okay.
Call him out.
I thought you were gonna call out a person's first and last name, and I was like, yeah.
But I think it was a Hate 5 6 video. I for some reason brain fart, but I'm pretty sure it was one of his videos of them performing, and somebody was just commenting like the drummer looks like he just wants somebody to shoot him and put him out of his misery. And what's funny is the drummer is the one that writes most of the music.
He writes literally everything. Yeah.
And his response was like, I like making music that people don't like. I just loved that. It was perfect.
Well, I don't know if either of you heard the first Horse Torso record, Actual Stablemates, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I adore that record. That record's incredible. That one's got a little bit more of like a groove feel to it, where like you can almost put that one on in the background and like your dad will be like, what's this? Oh, this is kind of cool. This one you cannot do that with. You cannot do that with Micro Pianist. Which
and
like
says, what's this?
Yeah.
Very different inflection.
Kicks me out of the house, actually. It's awful. It's super
While you're
sad.
under my roof. Will not listen to Horse
No
Torso.
Horse Torso.
For some reason that I was telling my bandmates about Horse Torso on a tour that we were doing, and they just started giggling and they kept saying Horso the Torso, so we like that phrase.
Horso the Torso is very
Horso the Torso.
I dig that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor, 6, go.
Number 6. These are my homies in Deathbreaker, and their album Isolate is phenomenal. It's a really well done album. Their last one, it had a lot more kind of a melodic, almost being as an ocean-esque kind of feel to it. And then this album, they really honed in on what they wanted to do as a band. And I actually did all the design work and photography and videography and stuff, a lot of stuff for them for this album. And those guys are my brothers and my homies for life. I've done 3 tours with not Steaksauce Mustache, but my other band, and we did 3 tours together, and I've done tour photography for them. And their vocalist has fixed our van. He has a garage shop up in Washington, and he just fixes bands that are touring through for free. They always give bands places to stay, and those guys are just top dog, A quality plus homies. And then love those guys, and their album Isolate it's phenomenal all the way through. I really like the song Pit Viper that opens the album, because it takes a while to build up, but then when it hits hard, and it just feels like a train barreling down on you. But yeah, those guys are incredible human beings and incredible musicians. Love them to death. I'd say if you're wanting comparisons, bands like Chamber, I would say, are pretty close comparison. But yeah, awesome guys. Deathbreaker, Isolate.
I just saved that one. I'm very intrigued by the cover art. That
was a photo I took 9 years ago. So it was in my grandma's her greenhouse, I think. Yeah.
Is the greenhouse okay? Because it does not look great on this.
She
I don't think anything's growing in there.
At the time, yeah, nothing was growing in it, but she actually just lets all the spiders live in there, and it gets pretty creepy looking. But yeah, that year particularly, she was actually having some health issues, so she wasn't taking care of it, so it was really dilapidated.
Jeez.
Trying to find that album cover because now I want to look at it. Shit.
Is that where is that where the inspiration for the Steaksauce Mustache song came from?
Which one?
Balls
Deep in Spiders.
Balls Deep in Spiders, yeah.
So that one was a thought that we have a secret movie project that we have been working on, but we'll probably never make, but we're copywriting it, and it's called Splizzard, and it's a spider blizzard B movie.
Hell yes!
So we have a ton of ideas in the story and everything written for that. But we were joking about that one day, and for some reason they were saying like, "Oh, I just feel like I'm like neck deep in spiders" or something like that. And then I was thinking about swimming in the ocean, and when you're swimming in the ocean when it's cold, at least the West Coast is very cold, but there's a threshold in cold water where first you go ankle deep and it's like, whoo, this is cold. And then you go like shin, calf deep and you're like, whoo, this is cold. And then you go like thigh deep and you're like, whoo, this is cold. And then there's that last threshold before it's like, I'm going all in, and it's
balls deep, baby.
Right when it hits, the nether regions.
Yeah.
And so they said something about spiders, and I said, man, it's like going balls deep in spiders, like an ocean of spiders. And you're just like, okay, it's already bad enough that you're ankle deep in spiders, but then that threshold.
To be balls deep, yeah.
Yeah.
That song, I need to talk you up real quick. That song is so good. Like that is the one that I'm stealing your mic for the first time we play together. Like,
please do.
you're not getting it for that breakdown. I'm sorry. That's all me, baby.
I will gladly hand it to you.
Perfect.
Actually, funny story. Foes, my number 7 pick. The first Steaksauce show that we ever played where people knew the lyrics was we did a small weekender with those guys, and every member of that band knew every single line of every one of our songs. And so for half this whole set, I was just not even holding the mic, just giving it to them, and they're climbing on each other's shoulders, and that was the coolest feeling in the world. So
that's the best feeling in the world, period. One of the last shows we played was at this like historic venue in North Carolina called the Milestone, and it was just like, it felt like everyone knew every word, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is my life now. And then
they're gonna hate the new album.
They really are. They're gonna fucking hate it.
You guys sold out.
There's choruses? Why is this song over 6 minutes long? That's a spoiler, but I mean, whatever. The album will be out one day. I don't know.
Taylor, you're mentioning your other band.
Choruses.
What's your other band?
My other band?
Yeah.
Oh, so I play in a progressive metal band called Your Hands Write History, and it's influenced by like Contortionist and Silent Planet and little bits of Periphery and Tesseract kind of stuff.
I didn't
And it's
know
a
that.
fucking awesome band, I might add. I love you guys.
Thank you, dude. That's wild.
I may have known about that band a little bit longer than I've known about Steaksauce. I don't know if that's true or not though. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but I love that project, and
Thank you.
yeah, dude. Yeah. I love all the stuff you do. My number 6, that's what we're on, right? 6?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My number 6, kind of our homies. They are recent homies. We've only played with them once, but my number 6 is the 30 Nights of Violence album. You'll See Me Up There. It's a melodic metalcore, mathcore record. I would compare it to like Counterparts and I'm trying to think of who else. Counterparts and like This Is a Compliment if they're watching, but like Kill Switch Engage.
Dude, I was gonna say that. Yes, totally.
Yeah, this album it's an EP, but I mean it's like structured like a record. It's 5 songs, but I mean, or it's 6 songs, but it really does feel like a short record. And I love it. It is like the perfect listen when I just need like 15 minutes of something that is really heavy and really melodic. It's like it's all the best parts of those bands, plus with some like a little bit more modern metalcore influence from like bands like Vane and, you know, Chamber and that kind of thing. And also James, their guitar player, is one of the best guitar players I've ever seen play, like, period. He posts a ton of like him just like writing on Twitter, and he sent me a few like guitar profiles for me to like learn, and he is so beyond my level as a guitar player that it is like just stupidly intimidating. And that's something that you don't hear a lot in this style of music, is like you maybe hear that in like bands like Polyphia or bands where the guitar player is like the thing, you know?
The thing.
Yeah, like, it's like this band's guitar player is crazy and he has an Ibanez deal. That's not really how this band is, but there's like actual solos on this record and all of them rule, and I know how to play none of them. It's awesome. And my favorite song on it is Marbled Regression, which was the single, and there's an awesome video for it, and it closes out the record. And it's like there's 5 songs of build up before that, and then Marbled Regression is just like the perfect ending spot on it. It all builds up, and it's all worth it for that song, even though all the songs are great. So yeah, that's my number 6.
I didn't even know bands were still making this kind of music. Like, this is total throwback to like late 2000s metalcore, man. Like, I was getting flashback, like you said, Kill Switch Engage. Like, that's crazy. I didn't know
that's not a bad thing. I love Kill Switch. I think Kill Switch is sick. So like, it's cool to. I know that some other bands are doing it, but none of them on this level of technical prowess and songwriting. And also, I think James, the guitar player, is the only one who doesn't do vocals. They have like 4 vocalists. The drummer does vocals, the bassist does vocals, the other guitarist does. Like, that's what's cool to me, is like everyone has a mic and they're all using them.
Yeah.
So my number 6 is Under the Pier Puff Pieces. I would say they're like Calculating Infinity kind of style Dillinger along those lines. Not really sure other good comparisons. More grindy kind of mathcore, which is really like my favorite kind of mathcore, is the grindier stuff.
I couldn't tell from your music.
Yeah, no. There's no way do you really?
So you like grind and you like harmonicas.
That's 2 things about Chris we didn't know.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, these guys like kind of just burst on the scene with this debut album. It's pretty insane to see like how big of a fan base they've been able to make out of this one.
Yeah,
I would say
I can't wait to see them go over the pier. Woof.
Blammo, baby.
I would say my favorite song is Four-Sided Triangle. Just that beginning, the smile. It's so good, man. There's like the blast and like smile. Oh, so good.
I would throw in like early number 12 in there too for them.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe not what's the first number 12 record called?
Put on your rosy glasses.
Put on your rosy red glasses era for sure.
I was thinking it was definitely like the My Sharona era.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. That despite that only being one song, that is an era of that band.
That is the era, yeah. I think that was the first time I ever saw a metal band doing like a cover of something more like a.
You should ask them to play it live. They'll love it.
Oh yeah, it's actually fun when we toured with them. They played The Boys Are Back in Town with Moontooth, like half the band.
Really?
Sick.
Dude, that's fucking crazy.
That's so awesome. I didn't know about that at all.
The first time we played, it was actually like a few years ago. Number 12 announced their big reunion tour. They came to like 5 hours north of us, and we begged and begged and begged to get on to open that show just because we liked them, and that's actually how we met Michael Cadner, Silent Pendulum Records, and then went on our last tour. So, but they played My Sharona at that show, and there was like the whole city got shut down because of a snow storm that hit, and we're like, "Is the show?"
Oh, you're gonna say the whole city got shut down because they played My Sharona?
I mean, it happened. There's a coincidence there, but yeah, they played it there. It was a ton of fun. Anyways, yeah, Under the Pier, hella sick. That's one of the bands I'm really hoping to get to play with down the road.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris told me it was on his list very early, which is why it's not on mine. But first of all, our friend Christian put this out on Dark Trail. And keeping with the theme of Dark Trail, just only dropping fire. It's so good. I love it. It's so sick, and it's like 22 minutes long, which means you can just turn it on and enjoy yourself for 20 minutes, and then you've completed a whole record. I love the feeling of completion I get from this record specifically.
I only like Edge, dude.
Exactly. Same. No.
I like the shorter releases, honestly, because you can replay it more and you get to delve into it a little bit more if you don't have a lot of time to dedicate to like an hour long, huge album or whatever. Pizza Sushi Roll asks, does Carson play guitar?
I do. I not a lot of people know this. I write all of the guitar parts for Daoboys.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes. That's like kind of. I'm a little bit of a dictator about how our music's written. I just had always played guitar, and we were in like a pop rock band. Me and 3 other members of Daoboys were in this like pop rock band that wasn't really going anywhere, and none of us really wanted to do it anymore. So we just started writing heavier stuff, and I mean, I had written all of it, and it was like, well, someone has to do vocals, and I was like, I've never done vocals before, but fuck it. So that's how it happened. But that's how our songwriting's kind of always been. I've always been the one that writes all the guitar parts. So yes, I do play guitar.
Alrighty.
Long-winded answer for I could have just said yes, I guess, but.
But now we know you're a dictator.
That's true. Yeah. It's cool. It's a cool thing I just said on a live stream.
Carson is basically the North Korea of guitar.
I mean, I love North Korea. Praise the great leader. So,
so Taylor, what's your number 5?
Did we hear your number 5?
Oh, no, I just did 6. So now it's your 5.
Oh, yours was Under the Pier. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, dope. Another friend band, the Arson Choir, and their EP Invisible Monsters, kind of like what you guys were saying, where it's like brevity doesn't make it worse than something long. Scientific, but
you got it.
It's a very, very short. It's a 4-song EP, but this thing, every single song is it's perfect. It's a fantastic little banger, and they have a song called honestly, all four of the songs are really, really tight. But I really like the song "Revenge My Love" just because of the content and what it's about. And then the end of that song just has this really cool, almost hip hop kind of feeling, build up, and the vocal lines are just really sick. And then when it finally hits, I know I like edging all the way, but they do a breakdown, they relieve it, and it hits really hard and it feels really good.
Nice.
But yeah, I love those guys. We got to play with them. It was one of the last shows we actually played on our last tour last December, and before all this stuff happened. And I just loved watching them. They were really sick. We had been, online friends with them for a few months, and getting to play with them was an immense joy. They're really cool guys.
Hell yeah, I had him on here actually, and Mark in particular has been pretty great. He was helping get like lists and stuff together for us. So yeah, the Arson Choir is pretty fucking sick. I would compare them to you guys actually, Steaksauce, Mustache, or like Every Time I Die, that kind of thing. The more I guess groovier, a little southerny tinge to it.
Yeah, I got to jam this. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like musically it reminds me a lot of kind of a more structured Chariot, and then the vocalist, his voice reminds me a lot of the Bled, which love those bands. So
you stole the words right out of my mouth. I was literally about to say that. Thank you. How'd it taste? I was literally about to say that I got to jam this like right before we started recording, and I definitely would say the Bled for sure. Which is like a band that I feel like everyone has forgotten about, because I love that band to death. And it bums me out that they don't get more love. But that, and then I kind of see what you're saying about the structured Chariot thing. It's an interesting comparison, because when I do think about it, yeah, the Chariot doesn't really have any structure to their music at all. But yeah, for sure.
Carson, what's your 5?
Oh, right. It's me next. So my number 5 is a record that I don't think either of you have heard, because I haven't seen it talked about a lot, other than on Twitter, but maybe you guys jammed it before. Yeah, on Twitter.
I did like maybe an hour ago.
Where I'm popular.
If it's not verified,
almost verified. This is a Record Setter. I Owe You Nothing is the name of the record. This is borders on screamo, I think. I don't know what really defines screamo other than screaming, but there's a lot of like sadder sounding riffs on this. And the first like sad heavy band I ever got into was Deaf Heaven, so I just immediately compare any band that has sad riffs and screaming to Deaf Heaven.
Like Deaf Heaven, yes.
Screamo, Deaf Heaven. So there's a lot of blast beats. There's a lot of the screamo, the classic 6/8 screamo beat. But the way that For Your Health phrased this record was when they were talking about it, they said, "Thank you for making screamo listenable," which I think kind of sums up how I feel. There's a lot of things adjacent to that genre, like Orchid and Page 99, that don't really grab me too much, or maybe like I liked them a little bit like a couple years ago, just because maybe I didn't have like the expansive heavy music knowledge that I have now. The refined palate, if you will. Yeah. So it sounds like a lot of those bands, but in a very, very different way. I love the way this record's structured. I love pretty much every song on it, and they do kind of blend together, but in a very good way. And they're super cool people, and it's a record that you definitely need to check out. And I'm not going to give too much away about the topics that it covers, because they're very personal to the vocalist, and I suggest you dive in for yourself. My favorite track is called Rigor Mortis. It is so good. That's the one that I replay constantly.
I feel like that's the one that I heard. I listened to them like literally an hour ago, and I would definitely call them screamo. They have the whole super heavy reverb on the vocals kind of thing going on. Pretty successful.
Actually does that live, just and then at the end of every line.
Perfect.
So my number 5 is Carson's number 10. Focus writes Ew Music. Talk about some wild shit, man. Like these guys, the vocalist isn't even saying real words. I don't know if y'all know that or whatever.
I thought so. I've thought that for months.
But yeah, talk about like boundary expanding. It's really hard to even compare these guys to anything. I guess Psyopus, but not even. Like I don't know. I don't even think they're really playing riffs. Honestly, I think it's just like whatever noodles he comes up with on the guitar, man. I have no idea what to compare this to. But my favorite song is the first one on the album, When Will the Kingdom of God Come? They have a really crazy music video for that too. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I
dude.
have. It is awesome.
Excellent stuff, man. Yeah, I love these guys. I feel like this album in a couple of years is going to be looked back at like how Canada Songs is or something. It's going to be something that's going to spawn like a whole other type of mathcore, you know, like crazy experimental stuff.
This record in particular, the only reason why it's not higher on my list is because it's so short. I want it to be like probably at least 10 minutes longer. Because while I'm listening to this record, I am enjoying myself for literally every second of it. It is such a fun, just like vibrant, energetic listen. And I would give it the comparison of Psyopus, but it expands much, much further than that. I don't know if you guys remember the band 222. No. They remind me a little of them also.
Now I gotta write that down. Shit.
Cool band. But like it's similar to that within like how like angular the riffs are and everything, which like some of the riffs definitely sound like they were planned, but like others are like, oh, you're just hitting shit. Like, you know, which I like. Like I could not put this record down when it came out. Christian sent it to me, person I apparently talk to the most because I keep mentioning him. But Christian sent it to me and was like, you should jam this. And I was immediately just so into it. I was like, this is amazing. And it was impossible to get anyone else I know into it. Like everyone was like, this is too much. I can't do this. I'm like, no, it's great, right? Like just why not? Like it is cocaine music, like period. Like it is music written for a pile of coke, not even a person on coke, for a literal pile of coke.
Stick the headphones on the pile.
Exactly. I don't know what you're on, Focus Rights, but I want no part of it. I want zero part of it.
I actually asked them how many drugs they were doing, like what they were on when they were writing the record. And they're clean apparently. Apparently they're straight edge or whatever. They don't do anything. Pretty.
Well, then I'm scared of them,
right? If like this is what's going on in your head, like what the fuck?
We have people ask us at our shows and stuff all the time, like, "What kind of drugs do you guys do?" I brought some, and for the most part, it's like a couple of the guys in Steaksauce, they drink a little bit, but other than that, we don't really do anything. And our bass player, his name's Joey Souza, and he's an incredible artist. And people ask him all the time, like, what kind of drugs do you do for your artwork? And he says, it pisses me off because I don't want drugs getting credit for my hard work.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
no.
Great.
I mean, like, I dabble, but like, I don't make anything under the influence of it, I guess. I'm not productive when I'm high. So I don't really, that doesn't really factor into our music either.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, for your shit, I would imagine something's going on. Some kind of chemical.
Caffeine, just tons and tons of caffeine.
Yeah, that's what I mean is, dude, like...
No, I literally
do you have a sponsorship from Bang yet? Do you think Bang can sponsor the next Sound That Ends Creation album?
No, actually I was talking to Red Bull, but they already sponsored you, so they weren't gonna like, you know, hook me up.
Hell no. They don't want to touch you with a 10-foot pole, baby. Okay. They're all me all day.
I remember Yeah, it was Attack Attack on MySpace. They posted a video that they got sponsored by Red Bull and literally pulled out like boxes and boxes of Red Bull that they got sent. I didn't know that label or like companies ever did that. So that was before I liked Attack.
In my head, it's like a high quality video of them in like a warehouse, but I know it's like a 240p
Yeah.
there in a garage somewhere in like
the
San
first
Bernardino.
digital camcorders.
Yeah.
It was at Joey Sturgis's house when they were recording their breakout album, and yeah, they were just like, "Fuck yeah, Red Bull!" That was it.
Their music tastes like Red Bull, so that makes sense.
Like bull piss.
Yeah.
But not gonna lie, I liked Attack Attack. They were fun.
Dude, Smokeahonis,
Yeah.
fucking great song.
What was it? Was their second album? Was that one the self-titled?
Yeah.
With, enemy. Oh, whatever. Call it
AC-130.
AC-130. Yeah.
Yeah.
That album. When my first band started, that was like my practice album, as I would scream to that while mopping floors at a pizza parlor when we were closed.
Was it a Little Caesars?
What's that?
Was it a Little Caesars?
No, it was a Figaro's pizza, and it burned down this year because
Oh Jesus!
the cities next to us caught on fire, and thank goodness, because that place was bad.
Good.
I like
Good.
it, but a lot of illegal treatment of employees there. That was my first job. So, anyways, albums. Speaking of fire,
Pizza Sushi Roll asks, "What's everyone's day job?" For me, I do Instacart, so grocery shopping and delivering.
I edit a TV show called Hope Generation. That's my main source of income, and then I put a lot more time into graphic design for albums, and right now I partner with Silent Pendulum Records a lot in preparing those materials for vinyl pressing. So
where do you see that show? Where can I see that?
On TV.
No, what channel, man?
Wow, I honestly don't keep track of any of it. We're on I think we surpassed 200 networks worldwide, which is crazy. But
one more time, what's the name?
My dad and I make this show, so it's a religion-based media. On YouTube, you can find it though. It's called Hope Generation.
Okay. I didn't know you were religious.
Oh, I'm straight edge.
Okay.
Did I mention CrossFit, by the way, and vegan?
CrossFit and vegan. Yeah.
I was born and raised in churches, and it's where I work now. And I know it's not for everybody, so I tend not to tell people because they usually hate that.
No, not at all. Not at
To
all.
each their own, man. Like, you know.
I am currently just I do some manual labor jobs that I plan on not doing for much longer. I produce podcasts for a couple different companies. I mix, I master, and I most recently got to put composer in my bio. I have started scoring things, so I'm hoping to do that a lot more. I just scored a podcast, and I'm working on scoring a 5-hour audiobook right now. So it hopefully that'll come out soon. But yeah, pretty soon I'm gonna put all that stuff on streaming services and stuff. So I'm pretty excited about it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Dude, that's awesome, man.
I love it. It's my favorite thing to do, and I assume one day I'll burn myself out on it, and you guys won't get any more Daoboys albums unless you pay a lot of money to me.
Once you get Twitter verified, then you can quit your day job. So
you can sponsor me if you want. I mean,
I thought M&M and Red Bull already sponsored you.
Dude, so many people sponsor me. Aha, sparkling water.
Dude,
I came up with their slogan.
Yeah.
Absolutely having another. That's right.
What about nut thins?
Oh, when you're about to nut, nothing comes close.
Actually pretty good. Rice-based cracker, yum.
Hell yeah. Little ASMR in the. There you go, baby.
I recorded our last album, Super Woke. I re-recorded the entire album with ASMR vocals. We just haven't released it yet, but I'm sitting on that.
I'm so excited for that. That's amazing.
We want to do a
Nothing
the
feels
Patreon
quite
stuff.
right
We have like this mountain of material of videos and skit videos and stuff, and we want to start a Patreon, but none of us are like willing to be the one in charge of managing it, and so we just haven't actually pulled the trigger on it. But one of the first things we want to give people is the ASMR version of Super Woke.
Dude, that rocks.
That's crazy, man.
When we came up with the idea, they told me like, "Oh, we figured you'd just do like one song or something like that." But I was like, "No, I'm doing the whole album."
For we were supposed to play this Minecraft set, and we it got canceled, unfortunately, but we had just filmed a bunch of drum playthroughs for just IMR songs and stuff. So Sam, we never put them out. I don't know what happened to them. I guess we're putting them out eventually, but like Sam was like, oh, you should use those for the Minecraft set because I have no way of recording my drums. So we could only do we could only play the songs that he had recorded a drum playthrough for.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, well, how do I finish out the set? So I just put the rest of the record. I used the instrumentals that we had. I just put the rest of the record, but I like changed a bunch of the lyrics and I like did a bunch of weird shit that I am not supposed to do. But it got canceled, so no one ever gets to hear that.
It was at the same Minecraft Fest that Keonashi did, and I think Fever did it too. Fever 333.
No, it was not the same. It was supposed to be like a one-off thing with Dogleg. Do you know that band?
I can't say I do now.
No.
They're like Pitchfork darlings. They got like a 9 from Pitchfork or some shit. It was good for them. They're a really good band. They're not heavy, but they're kind of heavy. They're like a indie rock.
Like collectively, maybe 355 pounds, measuring all the.
Yeah. Whereas like you and I collectively, me at 5'5", you at 5'9", we
6'3".
you at 6'3", we collectively add up to way heavier than that.
Oh yeah. Look at all this mass.
Oh yeah, dude, check this out. I mean, like these spindly little thingies.
Yeah. Man, my parents always told me growing up, because my dad makes commercials and stuff, and they always said that they wanted to use me in a starving children commercial because I could suck in my skin in my ribs, so just my ribs are sticking out.
In the arms of an angel.
Yeah, exactly.
What number are we on?
So number 4.
Number 4. Okay. So this one, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for not being mathcore, but it's freaking heavy and I freaking love it.
Do it.
It's a band called Cabal, and their album Drag Me Down is perfect for working out. That's all I have to say about it. It is great.
Perfect for putting some meat on those bones, huh?
Look how much it's done for me this year.
It's a terrible ad read for them.
Yeah, but their album is just super dark and intense, and yeah, it just gets me super amped. Like it's so heavy and dark that it makes me happy.
No,
That's
yeah, it's
awesome.
super brutal. I heard a couple of tracks from them. I guess it'd be like beatdown would be their genre,
Yeah.
but dude, so freaking heavy, man.
They do some like offbeat, off tempo kind of stuff. So that's where I would say that there is some mathcore influence to it. But yeah, it's just very heavy, a lot of groove based material. But I love it. It's sick.
Pizza Sushi Roll says you'll be cabals deep in spiders.
Dude, that rules. You should put that on a t-shirt. Collab with them for one shirt.
I'll reach out to them. I'll have our lawyer get in touch with theirs.
If you need a good lawyer, just hit me up. I forgot to mention that in my day job.
I was like, that just occurred to me. Like, Steaksauce Mustache would probably benefit from having a lawyer down the road for what we do.
No, legit. I can message you about that if you need to.
Please get in touch with our lawyer, the Callous Daoboys.
Or the Callous Daoboys lawyer. That's the big kahuna. Can I go ahead with my number 4? Is that
I
cool?
wasn't done yet. Yeah.
Sorry. Jesus. Number 4.
Sponsored by.
Oh shit, my bad. It's sponsored by Timberland Pro. When you're ready to go pro, go Timberland. So number 4 is a super recent release, but I heard it around the time that it got finished up. These are the homies in Cryptodira for their new record, The Angel of History. Anybody who is like friends with me knows that I can't shut up about Between the Buried and Me and just prog metal in general. And this shit just speaks to me on like such a huge level of just riff wise, message wise. I heard this record. I was lucky enough that they sent it to me a little bit before it came out, and it was a Dropbox link, so I would have to like click on every individual song, after listening to one, and it didn't stop me from listening to it probably 6 or 7 times before it came out, and even more times since it has come out.
Think of all those streams you could have given the band, but you.
I know. I'm such a bad fan.
got a whole
horrible.
sense from that.
Absolutely. Yeah, this record is pretty incredible. I have listened to it front to back several times, and the song with John from Moontooth that is on it is so beautiful. That one's called The White Mask Speaks. And just there's so many good riffs on this. There's so many cool like callbacks to like older prog stuff, which my dad loves bands like Yes and King Crimson and Rush, so like all of those elements of it, the kind of like older prog stuff, which their guitar player Mike is like a super big fan of, just incredibly obscure prog rock, and it comes through in the riffs, and I love this record, and I'm so excited to finally get it on vinyl because I'm going to play it. I'm going to play the hell out of it. I can't wait.
I can't wait till my copy shows up so I can put it on my shelf with the rest of them. Not as much use as they get, but I
hell yeah, dude.
That album is fantastic. It reminds me a lot of there's the band Circle Takes the Square, and like just that non-stop arrangement, but it feels very theatrical and just this back and forth of the vocalists and stuff. It's really sick.
Yeah.
I love their old stuff too. Like they put out that I think it was 2 or 3 song EP or single earlier in the year, and those songs were fantastic too. I love the production because it's very raw but very tight, and so I enjoyed it.
That's definitely what they were going for. Every time that we kind of had a discussion about the production, it was very much like this needs to sound like how we actually sound live. Which is very accurate to how it's produced, and that makes it kind of feel like an older. I hate to use this because I don't really know what it means. It makes it feel like an older death metal record almost, like production wise. It's just super raw and super in your face. And if you haven't listened to this, the vocal trade off is, that was the biggest draw to them the first time I saw them live. Which was with Number 12 and Rolo. So that was 3 years ago or something like that. Yeah, that's the good old days. Yeah, when those bands could tour. Yeah,
I had them on here actually not too long ago. I gotta say their choruses are just beautiful, man. Like, I love bands that can pull off those big epic choruses, man. I can never do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I heard the new Callous Daoboys album has choruses on it.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, they sold out. They sold out.
I heard that every song is 6 minutes too. I would actually be hella stoked if it was.
There's 2 songs on the new Daoboys album that are over 6 minutes.
That's collectively 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Pizza Sushi Roll says the chorus Daoboys.
That's right. That's right. It's not as good as Cabal's Deep in Spiders, but it's close.
So my number 4 is Zilf, the album. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to hear this yet. Have y'all?
I have not. No, I've seen it pop up a couple times, but I've not had the chance.
What is the definition of a zilf?
Good question, man. I have no idea. I guess the definition is a sick band that kind of incorporates a bunch of different genres together. They have like the super fast, offbeat, like grindy mathcore elements, as well as like the like fun party kind of vibes to it, kind of along the lines of like Foxy Shazam sometimes. Like they range the gambit from like just insane brutal stuff to like really fun sing along kind of stuff. I would say my favorite song is Trust Me I'm a Doctor. It's the first one on their album. It perfectly nails the rest of the feel of it. Yeah, I feel like not too many people have actually jammed this. This is a really good one.
That's sick. You mentioned Foxy Shazam, and I just learned this on our last tour, but the vocalist of Number 12, Jesse Corman, he's actually the manager of Foxy Shazam.
Oh, are they still around? I thought that they were a dead band.
No,
They were supposed to come back this year.
Yeah,
Oh.
they still do stuff. I think it's mostly just the main vocalist and the guitar player, but yeah, that was always a band I wanted to see live back in their heyday when he would eat cigarettes and all kinds of stuff. So, but
I saw them open for Panic at the Disco.
that'd be a fun lineup.
It was really good. They for those who haven't heard the first Foxy Shazam album
Yeah,
that came out on Ferret,
something flamingos or
something like that, Flamingo Tricycle or something, I don't know. There's a breakdown on it where like right before the singer is like ee ooh ah oh biggity biggity woo, and it's like the best thing I've ever heard in my life. It's incredible.
the flamingo triggers that one.
The flamingo trigger, thank you.
I think that was the first time I ever heard the C word too. Was in that album.
Really? You know what? That adds up.
Homeschooled Christian boy here.
Yes.
So what's your number 3, Taylor?
So I saw that this one's on Carson's list too. I think it's the one that we have in tandem, but it's well deserved. Loathe, I let it in and it took everything. Is I love mathcore. I love something that's intense and visceral, but I honestly love it more when it's coupled with something that's dramatic and when it has a lot of melody infused in it. And Loathe is such a beautiful example of something that's beautiful, but also very visceral and angry. And they have parts that are just so crushing and massive, and then they have these parts that are just very floaty and dreamlike. So, yeah, I love everything that Loathe has put out. Like they put out an EP with a couple tracks on that, and that was the first thing I heard forever ago with another band. And those two songs are just so heavy. And then they also have their album, The Cold Sun, which is fantastic all the way through. And then this new one it's a good one. I loved it. Although I've seen a lot of it gets a lot of praise, which I think it's well deserved. But it's one of those things where so many people are supporting it and liking it that it almost makes me go like, well, it's not that good, but it is a fantastic album.
To me, and I mean, this is kind of should I save my talk about this for when I get to it, or
Yeah, we can do whatever. We can say
There's no rules going off script, dude.
whoa. To me, all the hype around this record is deserved. It is well over 40 minutes, right? It crosses that. It crosses that threshold. And normally I'm not a fan of that. Normally I think that like heavy records, mathcore records, everything adjacent should cap off at about 40 minutes. I think that's the amount of time that I can hear one mathcore band.
Yeah.
And that's not the case with this at all. I don't know how this record is even real. There's moments on it that are just so strikingly gorgeous and just like I feel like I'm in a giant body of water, and then there's more where I feel like I'm bathed in blood, and like it's just it goes.
I've done that frequently, so
yeah, no, me too. I mean, that's how I know what it feels like.
Wake up in the morning, Blood.
Feeling like P. Diddy.
Yeah. In blood.
In blood. He's changing his name to P. Diddy in blood.
In blood.
I love every moment of this record, and it came out in January, and I have yet to ever get tired of it. It has never just been grating or annoying, or I'm not really feeling this. It is just a constant. What should I put on? I should put on the Loathe record, and I always finish it.
I think the reason why I love it so much is it just has a lot of feeling to it. It's not in your face, bro heavy, where it's like trying to impress you. It's just very, very well orchestrated. It's a cool album,
and all the choices that they make instrumentally are so unique. I mean, I know the tuning that they're playing in is they're playing baritone 6 strings, and it's tuned to like drop C#1. So like
not a lot of definition in some of those riffs.
No, they're like nearly inaudible sometimes.
Yeah. Not quite Meth Witch though.
Not quite Meth Witch, no, where it's like in like A0 or whatever Cameron plays in.
Z tuning.
Yeah, Z. He's in Z tuning. He's in drop cock.
Maybe that's what a Zill.
I heard a couple of songs by them. It's okay. I'm not a huge fan, but it's all right. I saw some people. Yeah, like,
wow.
It's okay.
Dude, I don't know how you dislike this record.
I don't dislike it. It's just it's not like it didn't grab me or whatever. Like when I saw this like at the top of your list, Carson, I was like, really? Like, okay. It's fine.
I think it's a perfect record. I don't think anything is wrong with this record at all. I love it. I cannot wait to hear it live too.
Maybe it's just like the tracks that I heard. I heard just 2 tracks, and it was just like cool.
I would honestly suggest that you go listen to their EP from a few years ago, because those 2 songs are ridiculous. Like those 2 songs. Yeah, one of them has like a Pantera style riff in it, and it like goes so hard.
They're just more of like a prog than a math band, but I love that stuff. That's my jam.
Also, Deftones is like one of my favorite bands, like period. So the Deftones influence certainly helps them for sure.
Yeah. I've never actually listened to a Deftones album. I've heard it, like
me neither.
One time an album was playing on the radio, and I was in somebody else's car, and I asked them, "Oh, who's this?" And they're like, "Oh, it's Deftones." And it sounded so much like He Is Legend, which is one of my top favorite bands of all time. So I don't know what album it was, and I tried to find it, and the old stuff I was finding wasn't that, so I didn't like it. But listen to Deftones, it's something that's like I really admire this. I've just never dived into it.
I'm gonna drop the record that you two need to listen to into the group chat that we have, because I think you guys would dig it.
Cool. I'm super down.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
All right.
Chris didn't like Loathe.
Chris, yeah.
My number 1 album was Chris's album, but I'm gonna demote that a few merits now.
Yeah. I had edited mine since earlier, so. So my number 3 is my Chris told me I could have one non-heavy pick, but
I think it's separate from the 10.
Yeah, I think it's separate from the 10.
That's what I did.
It's all good. It's all good. I was wondering why this was on. I'm like, all right, I guess we'll talk about it.
My bad. I mean, it is heavy in its own way. My number 3 is Visions of Bodies Being Burned by Clipping. It's an experimental hip hop record. Some people have labeled it horrorcore, which I guess I am not knowledgeable enough of that subgenre of rap and hip hop to call it horrorcore myself, but I would put it close to experimental hip hop. If you like Death Grips or Danny Brown or anything in that realm, I would suggest this to you. However, this is not a record for the faint of heart at all. This record is super violent and super imaginative, and it is in pretty much the same way that the Meth Witch record is, fucking terrifying. This record is like another one of those where I think I'm being followed when I listen to it in the best way possible. And if you like noise music, like experimental noise and drone and harsh noise and that kind of thing, this album is definitely for you, because there is more noise on this record than any heavy record I have heard in years and years and years. This is like this is like as noisy as Full of Hell, if not more noisy. And I am a huge fan of bands like The Chariot and Full of Hell, so any just amount of wall of noise, things that sounds like someone left a vacuum on, that's my favorite type of music. So I adore this record, and you should absolutely check it out. And the track that I would suggest you check out is called Pain Every Day.
Is that the one with that's their music video?
They do have a music video for it. Yeah,
I think
don't
that's
think
the track I heard before we started this. Honestly, I saw that like rap was one of their labels. Like people were tagging them as that in like posts and stuff. So I never listened to it, but it was pretty good. It was pretty sick.
It's yeah, no, it is a constant, like it's on constantly for me. I love this record. And I highly recommend it. Just about everyone that I've put onto it has been like, yo, that clipping record. So, you know, just give it a listen. Give it a listen.
I'm going to give it a listen.
I hope you do. I'm surprised you haven't, Taylor.
Yeah, I actually have never heard of it, but I wrote it down.
You never heard of it, dude? Wow, a lot of people were talking about it whenever it was coming around.
I honestly, like, I don't know if you guys do the same thing, but like on Facebook and Instagram or whatever, it's always a world where I don't want to be a part of it, but I have to because of my bands and artwork and whatever. So I literally do not have in my feed. I have turned off everyone. I follow some bands, but there's not a single person on my feed, so I don't see anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's so many people where it's like I love them as a person, but seeing how they conduct themselves online, it's like I don't want to hate their guts. I agree with them, but I hate the way they're saying that, so I'm just not gonna pay attention.
You gotta take your like mental health into consideration whenever you're dealing with social media and stuff. Sometimes it can be a lot.
Oh, it's always too much. So I literally use social media just to more or less promote and connect with other people and contacts, but that's about it. But anyways, yeah, clipping. I'm gonna check that out. And if you like vacuum solos, the new Steaksauce Mustache record has a 20-minute vacuum solo. We just have a vacuum cleaning a carpet, and we just let it go. So it's just
awesome.
For you. Thanks. It's the hidden track on the side.
AOTY 2021, baby.
The way he performs that vacuum is flawless.
You know, it took me a second to realize you were kidding, but I was like really excited. I was genuinely like, "Oh, really?" Like,
here's the thing: what we do starts as a kidding or a joke, and then we do it. So
yeah, you're gonna manifest.
I was gonna say, I was wondering if you were actually gonna pull it off, like after you do this.
I'm legitimately gonna bust out a vacuum and just record me vacuuming for 20 minutes.
So my number 3 is Thin. Thin's Dawn. I don't know if y'all had a chance to check this one out.
Yeah,
dude, super sick grind.
Yeah, that was an album I checked out when Mathcore Index shared it, and I try to keep tabs on the stuff he's sharing. But I really liked Thin; it was a fun one.
Yeah, this is another one, kind of like Under the Pier. They just like blew up out of nowhere. I would say these guys are along the lines of like kind of like Hayworth from back in the day. Yeah, just like intense mathy grind. Like there's nothing much else to say. They have more of a warmer tone than most other bands that are kind of like this. The whole album is actually based on like the Southwest and New Mexico in particular, I guess. And it comes off in like the production, like it's a lot warmer than what a lot of these other kind of bands sound like. I would say my favorite track is Sepia. They have a really sick angular intro, and they actually have like really beautiful parts in it. Instead of like just all insane thrashing all the time, they like take a little break and have a little bit of beautiful melody going on. So cool. Yeah, I was Thin's my number 3.
Would you say Thin's album is thick?
It's pretty thick. It's pretty thick.
It's thick and very warm, apparently.
Thick and warm.
Yeah,
Thick and warm.
just the way I like it.
So Thin used to be called Mary Todd. And I loved them when they were called Mary Todd, and I love them now. They're an awesome band. So absolutely check them out.
I thought you were gonna say I loved them when they were married. Top.
and
Now it's
now
like,
I just can't get down with it.
Well, cool. I'll bring in my number 2. So these next 2 albums I have listened to more than anything this year, and I know this next one is not mathcore enough for some people. I really don't care though, because it's just such a freaking bangy, slappy album.
Get them.
But Great American Ghost, Power Through Terror. This album, every single song is a hit. Like, just
Yes.
whole album. It's kind of like what Carson was saying with Love's album, where I've listened to it time and time again, and I just love it every single time. And it's one of those albums that it just hits so hard and is so punchy that it makes you smile. It's like, I want to beat somebody up, but I'm just so happy right now.
Yeah.
Which is really funny for me, because lyrics are a very defining thing for music for me, because as a vocalist, I connect to what a band is saying. And so sometimes there's albums that I love that I can't listen to it because the lyrics bum me out in one way or another, kind of like the End album does. But this album, it's so funny because every single song I completely disagree with the message of what the song is about, but the music is so tight, and the way that the vocalist is performing, I'm singing along, even though I totally don't agree with this at all. It's like the whole album is just about like basically how screwed humanity is, and we're all gonna die, and there's no hope whatsoever. And I'm like, yeah, I think that there's hope. But
Right. Yeah.
it is.
That's the reason why this didn't make either of my lists. My just basic year-end list and this list. But you're right. Like, every song slams. I lyrically, this was not my favorite. I mean, same reason as you. I don't know. I can't really do something that overwhelmingly negative.
Yeah. And it's like, man, how could he get up every night, screaming this out? I'm sure it's cathartic on one side, but like why do you keep making albums?
Yeah.
If you're really that depressed, if you're like, every song is like kind of like Counterparts. I freaking love Counterparts, but every song is about just wanting to die. It's like, then why make music? It's like, just go die. It's that easy.
Yeah, this is another one that I didn't really get much of a chance to listen to. I heard a little bit before we started. It's cool. Some cool stuff.
No, like,
I don't know, man. I'm into like the really weird shit, as you can tell by my list. And
you'll grow up one day.
Grind?
So my number 2 is probably another one that Chris dislikes.
No, you are incorrect, sir.
It's
good. So my number 2, again, like, within these 4, my top 4, like, they're kind of interchangeable, just because these were the records that I played the most this year. I've got to be on my, I don't know, 40th listen of this record. My number 2 is Palimpsest by Protest the Hero. Protest the Hero is like one of my favorite bands ever. They give me so much serotonin when I listen to them, just because Rhodey is such a soaring vocalist, and I love the guitar melodies and just how melodic everything is and how everything is centered around getting Rhodey to this spot of giving you a hook. Yes. And I don't know what you guys thought of this record, but because it is like, it's been a really long time since Protest released a record, but I adore every moment of it. There is so many lyrics that stick with me in like a very it's not necessarily a sad record, but it does kind of take you through the not so great parts of American history is what this record is about. And there's a lot of lines that stick with me and ring true, despite this being made by a Canadian band. They are, yeah.
Disappointment.
No, but
the first couple. I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then my parents moved to Canada for the first 3 years of my life. So I'm more Canadian than I am Oklahoman.
you sound a little Canadian, I will say, but maybe that's the Pacific Northwest in you.
Maple
Eh?
syrup? Hostile.
Sorry, my bad.
Sorry. Yeah, Protest the Hero is one of those bands that I just admire. They're just their technical prowess is incredible. I loved all their old music videos that were like really cheeky and fun, and
Yeah,
I think
made for $2 and a taco. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but I can relate to that. No, but yeah, they're one of those bands that are just they're god tier. They're just incredibly talented. I actually haven't listened to this album though, and I didn't know that they put out a new one, so I might listen to it.
Oh wow, yeah, you need to check it out.
Highly recommend. I think it's one of their best. And that, I mean, that's not a surprise because there isn't a single Protest the Hero song I dislike. But Chris, you said you didn't hate this record.
Dude, this is actually pretty sick. It's probably not as good as Fortress, but that might just be because I listen to Fortress so much. It's actually the record I listen to when I go running. It's like the perfect like speed.
Yeah.
And that's
what
close.
This band is for.
Yeah. This is pretty close. There's not as many like I guess metalcore moments. This is to me this is like straight progressive power metal, which is awesome. But
I mean, that's what you want to call it, sure.
yeah. They just don't have as many of like the harder elements that they did in like Fortress, for example.
That's true, but I think it's made up for in melody because every chorus is just like it gets. I don't know. Every chorus of this album gets stuck in my head so easily, just because I mean it's Rhodey layering himself with just like you're just bathed in these harmonies and melody.
Rory in blood.
Bathed in, yes, exactly.
No, he's an amazing vocalist, man. Like it's so good, so good. I wish I could sing like that, man. The things I would do.
Yeah, it's the opening track on Kazayo when he does that like tiger growl thing. I don't think he's ever done it on another song, but it is so, like he sounds like a cat. It's amazing. Yeah.
So my number 2 is Needle Play's EP Death by Dying. You guys got a chance to check it out?
Yeah, I did listen to Needle Play.
Dude, hell yeah, man. Jazzcore at its finest. Oh my god. These guys are great. The production, maybe could be a little louder, a little cleaner, but absolutely amazing stuff, man. They have like the pianos going, there's flutes, I believe there's clarinets and stuff. Like they really again expanding boundaries in mathcore. And it just hits on all the right notes. My favorite song is I think it's Billerica, Massachusetts. I don't know how to say the name of it. It's a city. All the names are cities for some reason. They kind of remind me of like Number 12 Looks Like You, but taken just a little further.
I loved Needle Play's last record. Really long one.
Oh, I forgot the name of it now. I was gonna say the name of the one that the single they let off with Doomster Baby, but that's not it.
There's I liked this EP. It wasn't it wasn't exactly what I was looking for from them again. The more melodic elements on the previous one were amazing though. This one sounds a little bit more like The Locust, maybe is what I would compare it to, like a Justin Pearson project in that like it's just like so abrasively ridiculous, and you can put that on a shirt if you'd like Needle Play. But yeah, I liked it a lot still. It's just I want a little more melodicism out of my Needle Play. You can also put that on a shirt.
Well, I'm gonna build the tension here for my number 1 pick because I have to go pee, so I'll be back.
Oh shit! What do we do? Taylor, Taylor, you left me alone with Chris. I don't know what to say to this guy, man.
So, when's the new Callous Daoboys album coming out? Drop it here, man. Come on. First time.
I will say that we will know when it's coming out in a few weeks.
Okay, alrighty.
It's really close. It'll be early next year. My guess is like right when spring hits is what I'm thinking. So I'm hoping around April or May is when you can probably expect it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Guitar Costas, who's actually a member of Sensor Ace, is asking if we have any honorable mentions. I would say his album is definitely an honorable mention. I don't know if you got a chance to check out Sensor Ace yet.
No.
Okay. Very genty and proggy.
Oh no, I did check that out. Yeah, Christian said something about comparing it to like Car Bomb and some other gent band, and when I started it, I was like, I'm not hearing it, but I need to go re-listen to it without thinking about Car Bomb.
Yeah, they were pretty sick. I actually had them on the cast pretty recently too. 11th Heart 777 is asking, are y'all really going to quit in 2028?
Oh, that's a joke about my band.
It is.
No, we're not going to quit in 2028. Hell no. That's not if you keep buying our records. Also, we got to do a Die on Mars 10 year. It's not going to work.
You can always break up, get really popular,
That's a good point.
and come back for the 10-year. And then,
That's a good point.
Yeah. Like Under Oath did, where they broke up and then the next year they reunited. That was great.
That was so cool how everyone paid a bunch of money to go to the final show. And they're like, actually. I was thinking today, like, if Dillinger comes back, I'm gonna feel so robbed because that was like the most ridiculous vacation I've ever taken in my life. Like one of the most expensive.
Oh, you know they're gonna come back at some point, like 100%.
No band ever really breaks up. Yeah.
If the Chariot was the only band I have ever actually had my heart broken when I remember I was at work I was working at a news station. I'm sitting there watching videos while I'm editing other videos, and I was like, oh, a new Chariot video, let's click this, and all of a sudden I see the date pop up, and I was just like, no, like audibly screaming no at my job because I was like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, and that was the video with
it's it's just that emotional. It's like
that video still makes me cry. Because it's got the version of Speak that's just the girl singing it, and chills, dude, chills.
Yeah. So it kind of
you can leave, Chris. Me and Taylor are just gonna talk about the Chariot.
Okay.
Bye.
So Taylor, while you were gone, Guitar Costas was asking if we had any honorable mentions before we do our top picks. So did you have anything that didn't make the list?
These are the other albums.
Good God.
A lot of them we actually talked about. I was stoked because there were some of these albums that I wanted to include, but I was like, I feel like the other guys are going to do those, and I want to try to bring in some more diverse names. But
do it.
Era was an incredible album. Eyes, Underperformer, fantastic. Fond Limbs is one that I wanted to include, but I only could choose 10.
Right, I'm surprised none of us had them in the top 10. It's a fucking incredible album they put out, man. Really disgusting.
If I had to be more genuine about mathcore and stick to the genre, I feel like Fond Limbs was one of the best mathcore albums of the year for sure. But yeah, Fractalize is an incredible. It's hella fall gent, just heavy instrumental stuff. But yeah, Fractalize is wild. And then there's plenty of others, but I'm a huge prog nerd, so bands like Haken and stuff were huge for me, and I really love satire. I believe didn't Carson wasn't your producer? Didn't he
Yes.
work on Satire's album? Yeah,
Yes,
like
he
that album's sick
Yeah.
too. Anyways, yeah, hella good bands. Under the
Did
Peer.
the Reflections album didn't come out this year? That was last year, right?
I think it was for Satire.
No, the band Reflections.
Oh,
I was going to include them on my honorable mentions.
I think so. I think it did come out this year.
They're definitely on there. The Under the Pier record was I that was one that I knew was going to be on someone else's list, so I didn't put it on mine. What else? Fond Limbs. Oh gosh, Memes, Dreams, and Flying Machines by the Sound of the Night Creation.
He put you up to that.
Yeah.
Paid him a ton of money,
Put
man.
me another $55. Can you believe this guy?
Yeah. $5
Every time he mentions it, yeah.
Yeah, the Reflections album was this year. Yeah, that's I love just like chuggy gent that's just like, you know, some huge dude with a 7-string that's tuned to like drop whatever, and it's just so
Drop whatever.
drop whatever. Yeah, drop W, baby. And it's just super chuggy. There's not a lot of memorable moments on it, but it is awesome.
Yeah, I loved that album too. It was almost too much though. It's so overwhelming because there's always dual vocals stacked on top of each other, like the dissonant tone thing, and it's just nonstop. It's really sick though. The guitarist actually, his name's Logan, and he has a side project called Dal Ave, and I wanted to put his album on my top albums of this year, but it comes out literally 2 days, so the first. So
Okay.
Dal Ave is he's phenomenal. I'm actually on that album. I'm stoked about that.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh,
That's
nice.
awesome.
A little soft, no.
To round out my honorable mentions, Slow Decay by the Acacia Strain is also on there, even though that's not a mathcore record at all. That's like definitively a deathcore record, but I love the Acacia Strain, so definitely on there.
Did you guys ever get a chance to check out Fuck the Facts?
I haven't.
No.
Oh, really?
Frank
Like, did y'all hear him from like back in the day? Like, y'all familiar with the name at all?
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay, well, they've been going along for like, dang, man, like, what's it been, 20 years maybe? Something like that. A long freaking time, man. And they're
Well, damn.
yeah, they started out as like a tech grind band, and now they've got like this more progressive sludge element to them. Really feel like a lot of people are sleeping on it. Yeah, like I feel like a lot of people would really dig them. Just yeah, check them out, man. And anybody that's been on my podcast, like all those bands rip. You know, Cryptodira, Methwitch, yeah, bunch of them, man. And my number one actually will has been on a podcast too. But Taylor, what's your number one?
So,
Taylor Swift has been on this podcast?
did you see how fast I peed? I was very swift. There and back again. A Taylor's Tale. All right. My number one. So this is actually, it was a band I found from Mathcore Index. He shared it, and I checked it out immediately because of the related bands he suggested with it. But it's a smaller band. I believe they're from the northeast of the U.S. somewhere, like New York or something like that. But they're a band called Pathogen. They're like a brand new band, but their album Null Space just blew me away, like front to back. I listened to that album a ton. Every song is just super, super tight and technical, and it has such a wide variety of different genres packed in there. But yeah, Pathogen Null Space is it's a huge album for me. I really loved it. I was stoked about it.
I am adding this now because this sounds like some stuff that I would be very into.
I got a chance to check out a couple of songs. I guess you'd call it like tech gent, or I don't know, man, like progressive gent. Is that like about the right?
Genticle.
Genticle.
Yeah, it definitely has some gent in there, but just the time signatures and the way that they, I don't know. I'm actually not a musician. I'm a vocalist, and I wear diapers, so I dance to fool people. But the way that they break apart time signatures, and it's not like landing on the off notes, but it keeps the same time signature, but then accents on different parts, and I just love it. It grooves and it's really really tight, even though it's such a varied eclectic sound. The way that they pull it off is it's tight and it makes your head bob. So
Are
but
you a
yeah,
big Meshuggah guy, Taylor?
yeah, I dig Meshuggah a lot. Like it's one of those bands where kind of like Protest the Hero, where I hugely admire them, but it's not necessarily like an emotional connection for me. It's just like, wow,
Sure.
this is fun to watch type of thing.
Yeah. Would you compare Pathogen to Meshuggah a little bit?
I
Or
would say that they definitely are influenced by Meshuggah.
cool, cool.
The closest, there's two bands that I feel like are a close relation somewhat to the sound. There's a band called Circle of Contempt that I really loved. Just the craziest, weirdest time signature gent kind of stuff. And then the other band is Auras, and I got to play with that band a long time ago. More Canadian.
I know Auras. Yeah.
Yeah.
Auras
Yeah.
is a very good band.
Yeah, so I would say it's in that vein. They sound different, but it's in that same kind of style.
Right.
11th Heart 777 saying bruh isn't gent already progressive, and what I mean by like progressive, they're not just like doing the open chord, you know what I mean? I saw the guitarist doing a playthrough, and it's some insane stuff that those guys are pulling off, man. Like really technical.
Yeah, and the production on that album is thick with 3 C's. It is thick. And oh man, their drummer. Just listening to what the
How
drummer,
warm is it?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's thick and warm, right?
thick and warm.
You were saying about the drummer. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, I was just thinking about some of the parts that he plays, and it's mind blowing. It's just so sick. The way that he does fills and flows from one time signature to the next. It's cool. Hi, sweet puppy.
My number one, we've already talked about it, is I Let It In and It Took Everything by Loathe. It's great, and Chris is wrong, and it's amazing and perfect, and it's beautiful, and it's like a fine wine. It only gets better with age. I let it in and it drank everything. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, my number one is the God Awful Truth Memory Palace, another sick Dark Trail Records release. They make good use of the pitch shifters that are like kind of getting popular right now. It's hard to be serious watching Taylor going out with the dog over. What's your dog's name, Taylor?
Her name is Eleanor because she was born on President's Day. So my family named the whole litter. We pulled from a long ways ago, so it's not like Trump or Bush for dog names, but we used a bunch of old presidential names in their first ladies' names. So
Rambo, yeah,
Rambo.
But anyway. Anyway, so the God Awful Truth, like I said, they make good use of the pitch shifters. The vocalist, I forget his name, but he does the whole drunk Elvis daughter's vocals and stuff, and it's a fun record. It's really I use the word energetic a lot, but yeah, there's a lot of energy happening here. I guess you could compare it to like Dillinger Escape Plan. You know, a lot of the a lot of like the bigger metal mathcore bands. I feel like this is one of those bands that if they were able to tour and stuff, they would have been blowing up at this point, you know? Like, they hadn't gotten quite as big as like Under the Pier or whatever, but I feel like they'll be at that point very quickly.
For sure, yeah.
definitely no.
The first time I got to experience that band, it was on our last tour in December. We were playing in Texas, and they actually had asked if I could do photography and some videos of their set. And so I was up with the drummer, you know, filming. And when they were playing, it was just the biggest sense of elation, and just like the way that the drummer was playing, it's very open. He's not like, you know, blast beating the entire time. It's just very open and letting things just punch. And but watching their set every single second was just like, this is so sick. I love this. And I loved the album. My one disappointment was, as I was talking about, their drummer is just so dang tight. And I felt like the production of the drums wasn't as punchy as I wanted it to be. Because like the music is just, is incredible. But I was almost let down in listening to it because I remember what it felt like watching them live, and I feel like the album's good. It just didn't quite capture that live experience that I had, because they were definitely one of my favorite bands I've played with, them and Arson Choir. So yeah. Anyway,
I think that I really like the I really like the God Awful Truth record. I agree with you big time, Taylor, that the drums weren't exactly where I wanted them, and there's not a lot of low end on this record. They're just low end in general doesn't seem to be very present. I'm really excited for their next release. As if they keep improving, as because I listen to their old stuff too. If they keep improving like they have been, I'm very excited to see what they do next, because I thought the songwriting itself on this record was very, very good.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely a step up from where they were on before. With the old
Absolutely.
Did they record bass on the album? Because I know live they don't have a bass player. The guitarist uses the pitch shifter down into the bass cab.
I believe he did. I interviewed them. I think that he did. But yeah, he does do the pitch shifting thing on whenever they play live.
Yeah. So if you guys ever get the chance, play with that band or go and see them, because like they were super, super sick live.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'm also stoked to see where they go. Like I love the album. It just didn't have that low. Yeah, it's the low end that's kind of missing, especially in the drums as well. But the album is sick front to back. It's a good one.
Makes sense that it's number one. It is a fantastically written album.
Yeah. It was one of the ones I wanted to put on my list too, but I knew one of you guys was gonna do it.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention my favorite song on there is Multiple Migs. That's the one where he really goes ham with the daughter's vocals. It's so good. So good. So there's one random question that we always ask everybody. How do you dress your hot dogs?
I don't eat hot dogs, but if anyone's wondering what I put on everything, I put hot sauce on everything. I put Tabasco on literally everything. So there you go. If I was eating a hot dog, I would put Tabasco on it.
So I think you had posted on one of it was our 12 days of hot dog, I think, Chris, that you had asked, like, well, how do you guys dress up your hot dogs? And what's funny is I don't think we really eat hot dogs.
We're such a disappointing guest, Taylor.
We did 12 days of hot dog for our Christmas song, and then we've played shows in hot dog costumes, and I threw hot dogs out all over the crowd. It was a birthday show, so I put them in diapers and threw the diapers and hot dogs out.
That's what you do on your birthday, yeah.
That's awesome.
You guys don't?
That's so great.
But there is, here in the Rogue Valley in Medford, Oregon, there is a hot dog cart guy called Victory Dogs, and he's one of those guys that you're like, he's making your food, so you just kind of like smile and like, oh, okay, yeah, like whatever you say, because he has some crazy ideas and says some crazy things.
Awesome.
But no joke, the best hot dogs I've ever had. But that's because it's not just a hot dog, it's like all the stuff that he puts on it. So
it's an experience.
Yeah, he does a hash dog where it has like hash browns and a medium fried egg and pastrami, and like that thing. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but I used to live like 2 blocks away, and I would go there 2 or 3 times a week.
Dude, I think it's like a Greek thing. I had Since Race on here a couple days ago, and they were talking about like these crazy hot dogs that they make that are just piled with potatoes and all kinds of crap on there, man. And it's like, I've never seen one like that, but dude, I'm interested, like heavily interested into that. It sounds good.
Yeah, a hot dog is just the vessel to get everything else around it in the mouth.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about cake, man. It's just there to get the icing.
The vessel for icing, yeah.
One of the news anchors I worked with years ago, she had told me that asparagus is just the vessel to get the mayonnaise in the mouth. I was like, yeah.
That's how I feel about every Chick-fil-A item and Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Polynesian sauce or whatever, that shit's freaking fire,
I could drink that. I could drink it. It's great.
Yeah, we actually just got a Chick-fil-A finally, and it's one of those things where people were hyped up for it, and I tried it, and I was like, this? All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not incredible, but it's good for what it is. I mean, like the Chick-fil-A sauce is where it's at, though.
Yeah.
You, you gotta do that.
Have either of you guys had Torchy's tacos in Texas?
I
No,
think
but
I did one time, but I wasn't too thrilled if I did. I don't know if I actually eaten there or not, though. I know. I think it was.
Our last tour, somebody's like, "Oh, you should check out Torchy's." So we went, and we loved it so much that we ate nothing but Torchy's for the next 4 days. Like, no joke, breakfast, lunch, dinner. We had Torchy's like 14 times in 3 days, and it is my favorite tour food. But they're only in Texas right now, so. And we don't have a Waffle House, so when I see a Waffle House, I get stoked about that.
I've
Dude.
never been to a Waffle House, but everybody talks about them.
Georgia is riddled with Waffle Houses. It's like it's like a pimple on my state. Like they just appear. But they're great. I love them. I'm loyal to them over Denny's. Denny's can go eat a fart, man.
Yeah. Denny's used to have like their $2 quesadilla. That was the best thing. They got rid of it. So, yeah.
Have either of you been to Cookout?
Not yet. We
Never heard of it.
were supposed to go on our last tour because it was the first time we went somewhere that had it. And
Yeah.
we ended up passing it every time because we just had such long drives.
Yeah.
But I wanted to try it.
It's good stuff. Highly recommend.
What's your favorite tour foods, Carson?
I every time were doing like East Coast stuff, it's always Sheets. Sheets owns. I don't care what any of you say. Sheets over Wawa, Sheets over 7-Eleven, like just Sheets all day for me.
I have never heard of that.
It's great. It's like the Buc-ee's of the East Coast.
Okay.
But better.
Those locations you've mentioned.
Yeah, but better. Tour food. Gosh.
It's like a
There
truck
was a-
stop then, right? Sheets?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a truck stop. Yeah, there was a taco place, in Chicago when we played with Meth, that Seb from Meth got us all tacos, and they were incredible. But I never found out what the place was called. But apparently, like it was like 50 cents a taco or something crazy like that.
More authentic Mexican. It's the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, anytime there's like a empanada cart like outside the venue, that's what we eat, like hands down.
I don't think I've ever seen an empanada cart outside.
Really?
Of
Really? Someone like
Good
selling
idea.
them out of like a Nissan or something?
It sounds
Serious.
appetizing though.
It's good.
You.
It's good.
It's fast in and it's fast out.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
So I know
It's the
that you
best.
guys both got albums planned for next year. Is there anything else sick happening next year? Hopefully touring, right?
Yeah. Honestly, that's what we're holding out for. We have our tour supporting Oakley Dokley for a month and a half. Can't remember, but it's most of the US, and so that's what we're really it's the first tour that we're like, we get paid.
Yeah. Those guys are the homies too. We played with them a couple times. They're awesome.
They're one of those bands where I listen to the music and like, I don't get it, and then I see it live. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what people feel about us too, but whatever.
When
Oh, no,
when does that kick off?
Yeah. My other band also we've been doing a 3 EP concept series, and we have the last one done. Our guitarist had passed away. It was when I was out in Texas, actually, with Steaksauce. I had gotten a call that our guitar player and one of my best friends had died in a car crash.
Dang, man.
It basically halted all of our plans for a long time because like we've had the material done and ready to release, and then just like it's really difficult when you literally lose one of your best friends, and it's hard to like get that gumption to like, people need to hear my album, check it out on Spotify. So this last year, like that happened last year technically, but that was what initiated everything for 2020 as well for me. And I'm more of an optimist, like look on the hopeful side, like it's not all of a loss type of thing. And this year was really rough, but that initiating it all was really tough. And so I'm excited to finally release the material that he wrote with us. It was the last songs he wrote, and I look forward to that. But at the same time, it's been hard to let those songs go because I feel like once they're gone, then we don't have something else of his to release.
Yeah.
So that's tough. I
Dang,
am
man, I'm
very
sorry to hear
excited,
about that.
though.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's tough. Don't let your bandmates die. It sucks. It's hard for you, Chris, but because if you die, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor, I can't wait for that to come out. I'm really excited about that being. I mean, do you guess that that's probably the last thing that you guys are gonna do?
Honestly, probably not. Our other guitar player who produces the music, he just moved to California. It's like a 9-hour drive from us. But that project has always been more of the spirit of a studio thing, and I play
Yeah.
local shows to help our friends that are touring through the area. And we've done some tours with that band, and that's with my oldest best friends that I've had for a decade plus. But we have another 9 songs written after that material, but we're kind of just taking it as it comes and just figured we'll focus more on kind of a studio thing, just release it online and send tracks back and forth and see what happens. But I'm always going to write music with those guys. So 2008, that was the year that or 2028 is the year you guys are stopping.
Possibly. I don't know.
As long as we keep buying albums.
That's right.
Yeah, that project it's more of a passion project. With my best friend. So just going to keep doing it.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
We I think some of the tours that we were supposed to do this year are going to happen next year. And the cat's out of the bag on the big one. Hopefully next summer we'll be supporting Silent Planet and Kubla Khan with Greyhaven.
Alrighty.
I was really stoked to do that tour when we got asked it, because Silent Planet's like a really big band for me. And that was going to be like their hometown show in Pomona, and we were going to play a Kublai Khan hometown show also on that tour, so I was really stoked about that. It's the tale as old as time at this point, but everyone knows what happened, so I'm hoping that that's going to get rescheduled for next year. We got a lot of stuff in the works. We have more things planned beyond putting out another LP next year. In fact, like there might even be more music than another LP next year. So that is we got a lot of things that we're working on, and it is looking like I'm not going to be able to have an actual day off until, I don't know, maybe 2032, 2033. We'll see.
Yeah.
But hopefully by then.
I don't believe in days off.
Same.
Yeah, like I think I get more bummed out when there is nothing to do. I'd rather be stressed, like I have to get all that done.
It's bad. I'm like, especially for the band, like I am the biggest workaholic in the band, to the point where I think when I drop like demos in our group chat, everyone's just like, oh my God, again? Like, seriously? You cannot be, this is the 12th one you've dropped in here this week. And I'm like, guys, come on. So, no, it's bad.
The new Steaksauce album, we have it pretty much done now, and then we've already have the next album pretty well written, and we're like, we got nothing else to do, let's just keep making stuff.
that was our line of thinking, is like, we're like, well, LP2 is recorded, now what do we do? All right, I guess we're gonna start LP3. So it's kind of how it's working.
So for me, I'm expecting to have my next album out sometime next year. Hopefully get some touring happening. Any bands listening to this, if you're looking for some support, hit me up. I'm down.
Hi.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I will support you guys. Like, come on. Put me in your trunk of your car. I don't take up a lot of space. We can just.
What is your setup like for when you play live?
I haven't actually got it completely figured out yet. I think I'm gonna have something to do with like a projector and I don't know, fireworks. Fire, things like that.
Yeah. Are you gonna have like
cannons?
Are Are you gonna have like a MIDI controller or something, or are you just gonna like scream over the instrumentals?
Well, I'm gonna play guitar, obviously, and yeah, probably have like my laptop hooked up to the PA or something like that. Get something figured out.
The bassist of Psyopus lives here in the valley. He actually filled in for Steaksauce. Our bass player got hit by a drunk teen and broke his
Jesus.
arm. And so, with like a couple days' notice, he is the most talented bass player in the world. Like just,
Yeah.
But yeah, he does a very similar thing where he just sets up his tracks, hits play, and then jams along with it and stuff. And he's a cool dude.
Hell yeah, I actually used to play live as a one-man band like back in the day too. So yeah, I have some experience doing it. You know.
Yeah.
I used to just hook up my iPod to the sound system.
We all these solo math and gent and prog artists all on the same tour or a festival. It's the one-man band festival.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I was telling Corey Swope of Zombie Shark. Like we got a tour, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. That'd be sick.
You guys could tour in a Toyota Tercel.
Yeah.
Do you know how much I envy you? There's 7 people in my band, and we have to bring a merch person. It's a nightmare.
We only have 4 people in ours, but it's like we have people like, can I do photography for you? And like, I don't know where we'd put you.
Yeah. Now add 3 more people.
Yeah. I'm like, so how?
GTR Costas is asking if all the bands old stuff and albums will be listed in like the description on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, they'll all be there. Don't you worry about that. They'll all be on there.
It better be.
So that's it. Another year in the books. Let us know what releases we missed, either in the comments on YouTube, maybe the social media post where you found this, or just yell at us in a DM. I'm sure we missed a whole bunch of stuff. Even though this year brought us so many good releases, not really sure I'm gonna miss it. What about you guys?
Oh no, I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Every moment of it.
So sick. Every moment of it. It was like every day was a new movie. First day, 28 days later. Second day, 28 weeks later. Third day, Shaun of the Dead. Just it was great. I loved it.
Fourth day, I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Heavy Blog is Heavy actually put out a survey today, and they were asking you to rate 2020, and it goes. I forgot what their lowest one was, but their top one was literal rainbows and smiles, and I'm like, I don't think anyone's gonna press that one. So
pretty well. I'm sure Jeff Bezos is like rainbows and smiles.
right.
I think Jeff Bezos was actually supposed to support Keonashi, so he might be bummed.
Dang, yeah. I actually just listened to the Keonashi, the AP Press
Diss.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
So you want to tell us where we could find you on the internet?
Yeah, just look for me.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, we got your handles up on here. That's Carson's Twitter handle, and it's Taylor's Instagram handle.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not into that Twitter game anymore. After I got verified, I was like, I'm out.
It was a big day for everybody.
I think the only person who read my tweets, like I had like 300 something followers, but I'm pretty sure the only person who actually ever read it was my dad, because he was the only one that ever mentioned anything. He's like, "You're so funny," and like at least somebody thinks so.
I think you're hilarious, Taylor.
I think you are too.
Compliment. So
I'm at Carson Daoboys on Twitter. You can follow my band on Twitter at Callous Daoboys. That's pretty much where we do all of our promoting. It seems like no one cares about us on Facebook anymore, so we'll see if that changes in the near future. But just listen to our. We just put out a bunch of new merch, and this is one of the pieces. And this is like the biggest merch order I think we've ever done. So go check that out and listen to it. Buy stuff, consume. And I guess listen to the album we put out last year.
Alrighty. As for me, drop my channel follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub here if you'd like to throw me a couple bucks. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. YouTube folks, if you like the video, please drop a like, tickle the notification bell. Don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound That Ends Creation, my Christmas EP, Merry Christmas You Filthy Animals, out now. Get a free download. Maybe pick up some merch over at thesoundthatenscreation.bandcamp.com. I definitely forgot to put in the person I'm interviewing next on here. So there's that.
Who are you interviewing next?
I'm not sure. I've got a crazy amount of lists. Well, I guess I could take this moment to say that if any band wants to get on here, I'm booking like a month in advance. So, hit me up like with a date about a month away from when you want to actually come on. I believe it's Dysphoria, actually. No, never mind. They're January 10th. Anyway, we'll figure it out. I'll post up a flyer tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for being on here, guys. Hope y'all had a lot of fun.
Heck
I had
yeah.
a great time. I hope you'll have me on again.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Let me know when y'all are starting to promote your new records, and for sure, both of y'all will definitely have y'all on again.
Absolutely.
So thank you for watching and listening.